Welcome back. We are going to wrap up Unit 1 by talking about data and finding some key parts of data. So the things that we're going to look at today are mean, outliers, median, and mode. And I think most of these, if not all of these, should be reviewed for you. But the mean is when we sum up the data. Remember that the word sum means add. The sum of the data divided by the number of data items. An outlier is any data item that's much higher or much lower than the other items. So if I have numbers like 1, 2, 2, 4, and then all of a sudden I have 27, this would be an outlier because it's way higher than the rest of the data points. The median is the middle value, but in order to find the median, we have to put the data in order from least to greatest. If it's all mixed up, like this, if it's like then that's not going to give us an accurate picture of what the median is. We first have to put it into that numerical order, least to greatest. And mode is simply the item that occurs with the most frequency, or it occurs the most frequently. So let's take a look. Find the mean, median, mode, and outliers of the data. The first thing, even though mean does not require us to put the numbers in order, I still think it's a good idea to start by putting the numbers in order. So this is good practice too because we have negatives and positives. Remembering that negative 19 would be the least. Because if we think about our number line, that would be further below the water line if you want to think about it like that. Negative 19, next we would have negative 15, I saw 2 of those in there. Then we'd have negative 10. Notice that I'm crossing off my data points as I go. And that's because I've seen a lot of people who don't do that. They end up forgetting a point or missing one. And that throws off your entire answer. So we get negative 8 and negative 8. So cross those off. Then we jump to positive 8. And then 9, 11, and 21. So there's our data in order from least to greatest. So we're going to take this one at a time. The first thing that we're going to find is the mean. And the mean is going to look like this. I'm going to take all these numbers and add them together. Yes, we do need to write it all out. It's not going to hurt anything. It just might take you a minute to write, and that's okay. All right, so there's all my numbers added together, and then I divide all of those. I divide the sum by however many data terms there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so on a problem like this, when it comes to adding all of those numbers together, I'm going to say let's go ahead and use a calculator, just because there are quite a few. We could do it without, but we're just going to go ahead and do this with a calculator. And I'm going to get negative 35 divided by 11. And when I do negative 35 divided by 11, I'm going to get a decimal. Your calculator should give you negative 3.18. I'm just going to do rounded to 2 decimals, and I'm going to say that that is my mean. If you put your answer in and it gave you just negative 35 over 11, look for a little button on your calculator that says S and D with an arrow in the middle, like that. It should be somewhere above the numbers. All right, so there's mean. Let's find the median. So the median is just the number that's in the middle. So to find the median, I'm going to look at these 2 points, and I'm going to cross one at a time on each end. 1 and 1. I'll make them go the same direction so you can see. I'm just going to keep crossing out, working my way towards the middle. And the middle number is negative 8. And that's how we find the median. Now, for the mode, we have to see which number repeats the most. And what I see is that negative 15 repeats twice. And then negative 8 repeats Since they both repeat the same number of times, I actually have two modes. I'm going to say that my modes are negative 15 and negative 8, and that's okay. If this were to happen where they were wrote out all my numbers, I would say that there's none. There's no mode, and that's okay. Last thing is outliers. Now, outliers can be a little tricky because a lot of it is kind of up to you. You decide if something is really far above or really far below the rest of the data. If I look at my left hand, I would say that negative 19 is pretty close to negative 15. It's only 4 away. But if I look at 11 and 21, that's a distance of 10. So I would say that 21 is an outlier. I will always try to give you data values where it seems pretty obvious, but I could see justification for the outlier, for there not being an outlier. So it's just use your best judgment. All right, try this one out. Try this one, find the mean, median, mode, and outliers, and see what you get. Pause the video and then come back and check your answer. All right, so check your work here. I looked at the numbers in order from least to greatest. And real quick, I forgot to mention one way that you can kind of check and make sure that you have the right number of terms here, like in this row, is I counted how many do I have in this row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I said, okay, there's 12 terms there. And if I count here, I ended up with 12. So that's a good sign that I probably did write those down correctly. For the mean, I just took all my data points and I added them together. When I did that, I got negative 25. And then there are 12 items, so I divided by 12. And that gave me negative 2.08. I'm going to skip median, go down to mode. Looking at numbers that repeat, the only ones that repeat are negative 17. I do see that like negative 12 and 12 are on there, but because this one has a negative and this one's a positive, those are not repeat numbers. They're different. And then an outlier of 29, I said that one's 11 away from 18, whereas negative 21 is only 1 away. It is possible to have an outlier on both ends, but in this case, I only have an outlier on the upper end. So I'm going to come back to this median problem. So if I count in from the outside, I get these two numbers here. And so I say, wait, do I have two medians? If this happens, it happens when my number of terms is even. I have to take the two middle numbers and find the average. I'm going to do negative 12 plus negative 8 and then divide by 2. Doing that gives me negative 20 divided by 2, which gives me negative 10. And so my median, even though it's not one of the data points listed, would actually be negative 10. It's on a problem like this was an odd one because we had 11 terms, so it's just going to have one number here in the middle. But when it's even, there's nothing that's here in the middle. We would need one more number to be in the middle. So we just add the two that are together in the middle. We add those together and then divide by 2. All right, word problems. So the number of people who visited a winter carnival during the first 7 hours of a day are the following. I'm going to put these in order from least to greatest. I've got 50, 69, 77, 79. Let me cross some of those out. 83, 88, and 92. So to find the mean, I'm going to add all of those numbers together. It's kind of nice when they're all positives. All right. Then I'm going to divide by how many terms I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yes, 7 is correct. Now, when I add all of those together, I get 538. And then divide that by 7. And I would get 76.857. And so I'm actually going to round that to 86 because I just want to do two numbers. 2 decimal points. All right, next is the median. the median, what number's in the middle of these? If I count my way in, I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, and they're going to meet here. So that means that my median would be our mode. We're looking for numbers that repeat. Let me make it a little different. If I look at these, I'm saying what number repeats? And I don't see any repeat numbers. So actually, our mode in this case is going to be none, because there are no repeating numbers. And finally, we've got outliers. If I look on either end, if I look up here, there's only a difference of 4 there. Down here, there's a difference of 19. So I'm going to say that 50 is an outlier. That's quite a ways below our second to lowest value. So try this one, looking at Ray's music and finding mean, median, mode, and outliers. Okay, so to find the mean, we would have all the number of songs added together, regardless of what they are. That really doesn't matter. Add those together and we get 110 divided by the 7 types of songs that we have. We get 110 divided by 7 is 15.71. And again, rounded to 2. For the median, I'm just looking at what number's in the middle, and if I count my way in from the outside, I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 15 is going to be there in the middle. So that's how I got 15 for the median. For the mode, it's which number? And I see that 15 is the only one that repeats at all, so it's the mode. And for the outliers, my logic was that here it's only a distance of 4, whereas here it's a distance of 8. So I'm going to say that 30 is an outlier. It's quite a ways above that. Here's your homework. So check it out and let me know if you have any questions.